So we've seen the feature. I'll just ask my first question. Why is it that when creative arts, practitioners get into governance and get into politics, they tend to forget the cause they were fighting before they got into, governance? I'll start with you, Mr. Fred Kyei Mensah.
Thank you very much, my sister. I think they don't forget.
Okay.
I mean, the exigencies of the time in terms of the load work that comes on one when that person is appointed is so heavy that you would think that they forget the other areas. I mean, every creative person or who gets involved into politics has a wider view of things that happens around.
Okay.
Because we create things out of vacuum.
Okay.
Yeah, the creative we create things out of vacuum. So the person has to look at the what is happening within the confines of the environment, and then adopt certain strategies to deal with the situation that as it arises. The creative sector in Ghana here, I think we are limiting it only to music and film, which is not so.
No, wide.
Yes, very wide. I mean, fashion, people in art, and a whole lot of things. But because we who are in the music and the film sector, we are very loud. I mean, most of us appear on radio programs and TV programs. So most of our voices are heard. So that's why it seems to people that the creative industry is only about music and film. No, it's not so. It encapsulates all. That's right.
Sadiq, but we've seen creative art people fighting for certain things and then get into government. And like I said, they tend to either forget or, like Daddy said, they tend to have a lot of pressure on them, and so they don't really concentrate on the main aim, what actually took them there. Why is that so? Now you're in there, so I'm sure you understand the scope of...
I think it's a mix of factors. Okay. One of the factors definitely would be the political will and commitment by the government in general, not these personalities that end up in government. If the government of the day is not committed to enabling the creative art sector, no matter how they push, even in private, and the extent to which they go, you will not be able to achieve nothing. And then most importantly as well, like you said, I mean, creative people have different skills. And so definitely when they join, even though they are coming from the creative industry, sometimes when they join, and particularly because also they are good, they may be taken to certain sectors that will take them away from the core where their insight on the creative industry will be concerned. So, for instance, GHOne Opoku coming from the creative arts sector has been made of information minister in charge of government information machinery, and so that such a focus will not heavily leverage his experiences, his insights in enabling the creative arts sector by running government's communication machinery. So, but most importantly, the biggest that we need to take a look at is the commitment. Where there is no commitment at all from a particular government, you waste your 4 years without doing anything.
But GHOne Opoku is a cabinet minister as well,
yes,
so he can
for
push
information.
If
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if he's lobbied, I'm sure that as information minister, if, for instance, there was a commitment by the NPP government to pass maybe the broadcasting bill, for instance, his experience will come in handy. But like I said to you, once there's no commitment at the top, no matter what you push at the cabinet level, a number of things may not pass. It's taking the NPP nearly 4 years to gain cabinet's attention on the creative arts bill, for instance, particularly because there was no commitment. I mean, obviously, if there was a commitment from the first go, from the get-go, it would have been done. Because look, like Uncle Fredimah is saying, if there was one party or one particular presidential candidate that had the huge support of the creative industry, it's Nana Akuoko. From 2008, he's had the creatives. In fact, the first time we've had an organized creative industry group campaigning for a political party was the Creative Arts for Change. And they've stuck with him from 2008, 2012, 2016, and then he came to power. So there was a certain expectation that, among other things, one of the key areas that he would look at enabling was the creative industry. But sadly, and in the 4th year, you can't really point to any of the activities or the actions that was taken in good faith to develop the creative
So where
industry.
are the people who stood for Creative Arts for Change?
Well, some of them are in government. They seem a bit clueless about what's going to happen. Not that they are not experienced. I mean, Mark Kukumante, for instance, is an experienced creative arts entrepreneur. He's knowledgeable, he's insightful. Uncle Fredimah has enabled industry even in its private capacity. He's done it all. He's all of us, the favorite uncle of the industry. Socrates as well has been in industry and all of that. I am aware that privately, and when they get a chance to, they push the envelopes a bit. I know I'm closer to Mark enough to know the things that he does to be able to push and advance the creative arts narrative. But once the commitment from the party or from the government is not there, no matter how Fredimah, Mark and co will push, you won't reach anywhere. So the point that has to be looked at very well is we need to be able to hold them to the task and push them to get them to be committed. The creative arts sector, it's a very, very vast industry that has the potential of creating wealth and value for the country, as well as employing a lot more people. In Nigeria, for instance, the creative industry has grown to be the second biggest employer of agriculture. More than 1 million jobs. I mean, it provides. Here in Ghana, when you check the National Identification Authority's statistics, the recent one, out of the 17 or so million people that have registered for the Ghana card, when you look at the top 10 professions that has been captured in, 2 of the top 10s are all creative industry jobs. At number 7 is the fashion, dressmakers and all of that. At number 9 or something, it's also, no, actually number 6 is the fashion dressmakers, and number 8 is another creative arts industry. Collectively, when you put it together, they are pushing close to about 1 million. Wow. Yes, and this is just the NI. And I'm confident that even if we had people register and actually even specify, like for instance, if Uncle Fredimah registered and indicated that I'm a sound engineer, I'm sure that somebody also indicated that he's a camera operator, I'm sure that the numbers would have pushed higher. So what that tells you is that the potential for the creative industry to create a lot more wealth for the country and employ a lot and create a lot more jobs, it's very, very high. But the commitment from the NPP has never been there. Commitment, I'll come to you.
It is never true. I mean, every president that has assumed the throne of leadership in this country, I mean, cares for the creative industry. Let's start from Dr. Nkrumah. Dr. Nkrumah established the Ghana film industry to cater for the film industry. And later on, it was sold by the NDC. Yeah, in 2006, I was there in November. I was there when they were commissioning it. And then Busia came. At Busia standard, we had soul to soul in Ghana here. The tenants all came to Ghana under the leadership of Dr. Busia. Then came 1979, 1981. I don't know how old you were.
I'm not sure. I was actually born. I was not even born.
A lot of musicians migrated or left this country because of the revolution and its antecedents. Come 81, 82, when there was this kind of famine in Ghana, there was no electricity. So bands were not performing and going to the real areas. There were no producers. A lot of them sojourned to Germany. That's why we had the Burger Highlight. So this one continued until the democracy came. And democracy also came once did his part. And then I must commend NDC on this one in terms of adding a creative sector to the tourism ministry, where they elected our sister Tabla Jifa to pair with Miss Elizabeth Ajari. Yeah, as they did well in that sector. But the doing so also affected it. Look, I was producing until I had that kind of flood issues here. I was producing. But it got to the time where people didn't have the energy to produce music and film. And we were stuck. So when Nana Akuoko was about to come, I mean, he promised that when he comes, he will stabilize the energy sector and make sure that productive people in the creative industry will make good use of what they have, their creative potentials. And now it is happening. My sister, as I'm sitting here, I'm managing Gold Coast, their live band session plus other places. If I tell you since last year, when Gold Coast was opening around the Flagstaff house here, I think previously they were at the airport. They have expanded their status quo. When I started managing them, we were playing live band from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On the average, I was employing 8 people in one band. So multiply by 8 times for 32 people were being employed within a particular. So what we said, when you look at our manifesto, the NPP, we also will pursue and then collaborate with the private sector. The private sector is the engine of growth. So any kind of creative person, I mean, if you don't have the private sector supporting, the government alone can do it. I mean, the government can provide infrastructure like the National Theatre and those kind of conference centers for us to, use that venue to, propel our business or the increase. But in terms of creativity or you creating business for yours, it depends on you, the creativity sector. Right. Look at my brother, 3M Music, solid music. solid.
Actually,
and I have very solid. I mean,
your son.
Yeah, my son. Okay, I have told him his brand. When I prophesied to you in the area of creative industry, take it. I've told him that he's going to be one of the biggest. And I've been part of his production that he has even paid me before. Yes, so the creative people, in terms of our commitment, we are one. Like if you take a band, for instance, we can have the keyboardist being an NDC, the bass being an NPP. Yeah, we play together, and at the end of it, because their focus is for us to entertain the public and then give our creative potential to help the economy. As he was saying, Nigeria, for instance, they are using their creative potential to their economy. So I think in all, every government that comes has a vision for the creative sector, but in terms of how that person is going to develop it, that's where is the problem.
But is it not a worry, the fact that a lot of creative people are getting into politics? Because like Sadiq rightfully said, once they get into politics, they are assigned other roles. They tend to forget the main reason or the main purpose to which they were there. Are we not getting ourselves too much into this?
No, sister, we have to get into politics because some of the politicians, they are classmates. For instance, the Minister of Education is my classmate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we started from former to upper six in Premier College. Yes. True. We're in the school choir together. He was singing alto. I was singing tenor. Yeah. He's the Minister of Education.
I didn't know that about Napo.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, if you tell me Napo is in government and you want Fredimah to sit behind, no. I have to use my creative potential to help the youth. I won't brag, but in terms of discovery of talents, in terms of creativity, in terms of music, nobody beats me. I've trained with 90 sound engineers, discovered a lot of musical potential.
True.
And I think if the environment is very conducive for every government, we will try. So in the creative sector, apart from that, we are getting to election year where we have to, Joe. I think the chemistry between what we call Sadiq and I mean, we are on the same tangent. In terms of what we want to achieve for the politicization or how to implement it is what is very, very different.
So on that note, Sadiq, would you advise every creative art person to get into politics?
Well, it's a matter of choice, but most importantly, I mean, I've had this come up every now and then about the creative people not getting into having not to get into politics and all of that. I say to them that, look, like he's saying, a number of the politicians that are there are mates. I mean, what exactly do they have that is science. More, of course, I mean, it's not a matter of rocket science, but we're made from communication school to law school to whatever. I mean, what people do not realize is that the fact that we have businesses in the creative industry and have been working in the creative industry does not mean that we don't understand certain concepts enough to, but one of the key things that has been of worry personally to me has been that you can't just leave it to the political decision makers who do not understand the industry to enable it. The more reason why we are here is also because there hasn't been a certain clear understanding of how to enable the creative industry by political decision makers. They do not even understand the sector. They don't even get it.
Did you guys get involved when the manifesto?
Yes, we did. We did. I mean, in our case, in our party, for instance, and mind you, if you look, the party that has consistently been raising the narrative and been elevating the discourse about creative industry in governance circles has always been the NDC. The NDC added the tourism ministry, the creative industry to the tourism ministry as a way of elevating the conversation in the policy circles and the governance circles. And then we're making a lot of progress. For the first time as well, we're getting creatives given the opportunity to create a manifesto promises on the industry, and orient the entire party with it. For the first time as well, when the party decided to appoint, spokespersons for different sectors, also stressing the importance that we attach to having to enable the creative industry. We appointed spokespersons for the creative industry as well. All of this is to assess one,
idea or one point you added to that manifesto, and your team.
So all of that, see, let me just look at quickly the highlights of it. If you look at our manifesto, the things that, in terms of the things that we're promising, right? One, we're promising a new ministry for the creative and digital economy. It came from us. We're seeing to the passing of the broadcasting bill and the media development fund. It came from us. There are reasons for that. I'll go into that. We're looking to upgrade NAFTA into a fully fledged university for film, arts, theater, and music as part of the big push plan. It came from us. Provide seed money for the creation of a special fund for artists, including aged and needy creative artists. It came from us. Facilitate the enrollment of creative artists onto the informal pension scheme. It came from us. Set up a system of legal aid for creative artists to help fight creative intellectual intellectual theft and plagiarism by others. It came from us. Facilitate the placement of exportable creative arts products for sales digitally with support from partners such as Exim Bank. It came from us. Strengthen regulation to protect the copyright of artists and ensure that they get value for their works by enforcing the payment of user fees under copyright regulations 2010, LI 1962. All of this came from us. Now,
almost
this
everything.
is us. Yes, this is us that understand, like I said to you, understand the governance space, understand the policy space, understand how the state's machinery can be used to enable the creative industry. A lot of people make the argument that the creative industry is privately driven. Yes, of course, it's privately driven, but there are certain key things that the state must get involved to open it up. For instance, when we're passing the Film Development and Classification Bill, which private individuals were going to lead that? When we are looking to pass the Creative Arts Industry Bill, which private group or whatever are going to lead that? We can only enable, we can only advocate, you can only engage and lobby. But the actual activities to drive all of these things was going to be done by the state. When we passed the Exim, when we created the Exim Bank in 2016, part of what the Exim Bank was supposed to do was to add value to exportable creative product. A lot of people do not know Kente is a creative product. It's exportable. Today, even music, film, and all of those things have assumed exportable status. We had that mindset and all of those things. Which state was going to, which private individual was going to lead the what's it called, the introduction of cheap credit for the creative arts industry to open it up and enable us to create that much needed wealth and jobs? It's going to be the state. So all of this is part of creating the condition, but we needed to get involved with all the experiences, the insight and understanding of the creative industry and knowing the governance space to be able to point it out and make the necessary connections to political decision makers. And that's what we've been able to do. And for us, most importantly, because our party has always been committed to enabling the creative arts sector, and it's at the heart of creating the 1 million jobs that we're looking to create. That is the more reason why the party paid attention to this, and we're elevating it one more time.
Mr. Fred Kyei Mensah, did you guys also pay attention to that?
Just before he came in, he made a mention about the Gold Coast Bar. He needs to go on record that the entirety of the ATIC, Accra Information Tourist Information Center, including the Gold Coast Bar, was established by the NDC.
Right. Did you guys also take part, stakeholders take part in, having that creative arts manifesto for the NPP?
Yes, we did that one. But let me do some corrections on it. I mean, I've seen inconsistencies, and then it's just nomenclature, the system of baby, we have done it. If you encapsulate it, it only comes to that the creative sector will provide jobs for, the government will provide jobs for the creative sector, but he has, expanded it into a lot of this. If you look at the inconsistency, you are saying that people are complaining that there are so many ministries that this government has established, so many ministers. I mean, you heard. So why didn't you come back and say you are going to create a ministry for creative arts again? Yes.
Maybe they'll join
us. No, you have to empower what with right now that what we have. You have to empower them. Maybe have an office solely dedicated to the creative arts, but not going to have a ministry. Yes, if you look in terms of the digital domain that is come now, every government that comes, if you don't take the digital domain as your product, you will definitely fail. So we also have all that kind of plans that they are also espousing, but where we couch our words in terms that we say the NPP is going to liaise with the private sector to do these things. These are all things that Sadiq has said. If you go into our archival materials in terms of education or in terms of creative arts, education also has parts. She's talking of expanding the DAFT to what university? Already have the School of Performing Arts. It's there. School of Performing Arts has been established to cater for all these kind of.
There's a major difference.
Yes, there's no difference.
No, there's a major difference in what we are looking to do.
Yeah,
but I'll explain that.
You have to empower them, or maybe stop
the already existing ones.
Yeah, that's right. They have a theater there. What do you have? I can even go and lecture there, and maybe once I have look at the kind of gadgets that you are having, so maybe you can provide them the state of the art, and then expand their horizon in terms of what they have already. But if you are coming to tell me that
the NPP could have promised that.
Oh yes, you see that government is not an event. It's a process.
I get it. But
yes, it's a process. And for instance, I think our main problem was telling the populace that we're going to build theaters across. I mean, most of the conversation hovers around the theater.
Yes,
yes,
but sister,
We don't take a day to build a house. Rome was not built in a day. You look at our land structure and everything here. For instance, for instance, where I say I have my house there. I built my house almost 23 years ago, but I'm still facing challenges because of the kind of structure that we put into our family system in terms of how we sell lands and a whole lot of things. So, for instance, if the government is going to pursue, once somebody is going to pursue something, then it means something is there that they want to pursue. So already we knew that there were existing structures. So we're going to see the economic environment. Like for instance, I was saying, using my own hometown, Agogo Santiachem. It's an entertainment center. They have one of the finest sound engineers coming from them. Actually, they also comes from there. Oforian Ponsa, Lele Kofi B, and a host of others who also comes from. But
there's a young creative entrepreneur coming. He's his uncle, but that's my friend.
Yes.
So, Salt TV and Salt FM.
But actually, knowing the enclave has established its own something there that is used in entertaining. So this is what the government should also do. That look, actually they've done something. We can't come and build a theater there, but we're going to support what we have. So next time when we are filing your taxes, if you are paying A, we will let you pay A.5 or something.
Have you suggested this to
your these are part of it.
It's part of it.
Yes, it's all part of it. So going to the next listen, we're going to see a lot of things.
Let me explain the NAFTI.
Sadiq, I'm coming. Okay. What we want to know as Ghanaians and as voters, we want to know how this time around you intend to implement all the promises you've given us in your manifesto. How do you intend to do it? Because last time you didn't fulfill some of them and we fell for it. This time we won't just fall for it. So we are asking, how do you intend to, fulfill these promises?
I can't remember in 1990 when Rawlings was around 91. Global for all the year by the year 2020. And you heard all these things.
We are here.
We are in 2020. I'm not able to water for all by the year. I mean, this way, program of action to mitigate the social cost of adjustment. So many nomenclatures. I mean, a lot of people's money. So yes, MPP, we promise that we're going to build theaters already. Actually, this way, everything is in the pipeline. We've surveyed, we've known where we are going to. Maybe
so the theater will still come.
It will come. I promise you that when God willing, we will win the elections, which we are going to win anyway. In terms of on 7 December, people will have shock. I'll invite Sadiq for a party.
So if you are voted in 7 December, you are going to continue the theater.
We're going to continue, and the budget that will come in the previous, you will see that it's been captured there.
But how many years do you need to build that theater? Because 4 years was not enough.
That one is subjective.
Okay.
Because building something, excuse me, the sun is there, but how to carry the sun from the where it is stored to where you're going to build? It's not another problem. It's money. So the government has to. The government is satisfying every sector of the economy. So he has to look at certain things and then see. But definitely, we shall do it. Because if they were saying that the police have done it, because Charlie, they stay in power. If you add the antecedents, NDC, NDC1, NDC2, my brother, they have done
it.
But when
you've given us things you intend to do, how do you intend to fulfill
so there are timelines. There are timelines to it. For instance, when we talk about the upgrade of NAFTI, and it needs to go and record. Our party come from the school of thought that you cannot enable and empower any industry without thought leadership or the scholarship elements of it. Industry generally across the world is moving towards a certain direction. There is the need for us to ensure that the next batch of industry professionals and leaders have the requisite knowledge to be able to do a whole lot of things. Uncle Fredimah on his own has trained a lot of sound engineers, but in the country, it needs to be able to be formalized. So our quest to upgrade NAFTI has certain few things that we've indicated. Expanding the scope. NAFTI now only teaches film and then media broadcast training. We're expanding the scope to include music, to include theater, and then the arts generally. So you could do the graphic design, you could do the sound engineering and all of that. But most importantly, we are not just looking to just expand the scope. The more reason why it's been captured under the big push is because it's going to come with that massive infrastructural development that's it's needed. NAFTI needs proper sound stages to be able to train the kids. NAFTI needs the sound engineering studios where the likes of Fredimah and co cannot. With all the experience, I mean, Fredimah now should have been employed in an organization that's the new NAFTI that we're looking to create the next batch of people. A lot of sound engineers today do not know what split sheet is. They don't even know what the sampling and all of that is. Fredimah knows all of that. We're looking to do all of that, and it's been captured under the big push. Now, if you look at us as NDC, if within 2013 to 2016, we've done a total infrastructural investment of 6 billion, and we tell you that we're looking to do, this is us when we just had only one oil field. This is us that borrowed less than the NPP. And we tell you that when we come, and also because we've been able to establish a university before, the university that was commissioned by Nanado at Somenya was built by us. Look at the infrastructure development that happened there. If we've done all of these things and we tell you that within a 4-year window, we'll be able to do A, B, C, D things consistent with our plan with the big push, I should tell you that we'll be able to. Then we've indicated it. I mean, the ministry is going to come immediately after that, but definitely within the 4-year window, we having had a very good record of doing these things and enabling the industry, will always be able to do. Like for another point that we need to make is that we created the Exim Bank. By now, the Exim Bank also, because was supposed to be part of it was supposed to add value to exportable creative products and all of that. Nobody in the creative industry has been able to access some of this fund. We're hearing that monies had been given to people for endorsement. Well, that's not bad, but we're saying that if such money was still available, how come it's not been made available to the film producers, to the kente producers and all of that to create more export and create more wealth?
Sadiq, he needs more time, clearly. But I'll come back so you can wrap up. So think about what you're telling, you tell the voters. Just one minute. But we have our celebrate and we'd like to say happy birthday to Israel. Baba Now, happy birthday to you. This from your artist, Captain Planet. He says happy birthday. So that's the manager of Captain Planet. Happy birthday. He works here. Do you want to say something to him, Sadiq?
Hey, Charlie, happy birthday to Israel. Oh, nice. This is nice.
Yeah, October was also, I had my birthday on the 11th of October. October, you are tight. Yeah.
Happy birthday to you, Israel. And we have another celebrate. This from Laye. And he is wishing his wife a happy birthday. Camera.
Oh, Laye.
Wow.
So that's Laye's wife, Mrs. Abigail Laye.
Laye get ice. Hey, Laye get taste.
Laye, so Laye's message to his wife: my love, my life, my lover, my best friend, my laughter, my soulmate, my one and only Mrs. Laye. After all these years, you are still my queen, and I love you. Happy birthday.
That's nice.
Oh, this is beautiful, Laye. Hey, Laye, my boss and I.
Hey, Laye, chop love like that.
Laye, I chop love. Happy birthday to them.
Nice,
and Laye,
nice,
we'll eat some of the cake. Before we go, in one word, in 1 or 50 seconds, tell us why we should vote for you. Sadiq, I'll start with you.
Our manifesto is out there. I think that we've consistently been pushing the point. We've been hoping and wishing that the NPP, if indeed they had a superior plan, by now would have been pushing their manifesto. But they are not. If you take a look at it, they are rather attacking us. Why? Because the manifesto really speaks to the aspirations and needs of the various of the citizenry and the industries that we're looking to enable. And that's more reason why they are beginning to attack it. Because, I mean, I've listed a number of things. I was hoping that here and across different areas they're going to do it. So this tells you that as a party, we have a superior plan of enabling industries, and we will enable this industry. We have a superior plan for the creative arts industry. And so for any young person that's looking to have a career in the creative industry, attend NAFTI and all of them, looking for all of this development that we're willing to bring, vote for President John Dramani Mahama and his able member of parliament across all the areas that you are in. And then you were saying something earlier. Look, on December 7, don't just vote. Vote for the NDC, and most importantly, stay around and be vigilant. This December 7, we are not going to. It's going to the NDC. We're not going to. But when we win, but let me just give a message to my uncle. When we win, you know me and my uncle. You see the telepathy, the way we are wearing the same dress. I'm going to invite him to the party on December 8th.
50 seconds. Party. Convince us to vote for the NPP.
Good beats don't rattle. There will always be a difference between choba and restaurant. There's a difference between 12 and a dozen.
Nice one.
Similar is not the same. I mean, here, Fredimah, vote for Nana Akuoko and the MPP. 4 more for Nana. Look, when we say we deliver, look at how we've been able to, capture the whole country in terms of development and everything. Hey, look at Fredimah. I developed talent. Nana Akuoko is developing the country. Charlie, vote for Nana.
It beats me with experience.
I can't do.
He just beats me with experience.
Oh my God! Listen, Sadiq has become a fine politician. That's for sure. And Mr. Che is just wow. Anyways, Xpressive celebrates Matilda Awuni of the Accra Technical University. Is from Simon Bubuashi. So happy birthday to you, Matilda Awuni of the Accra Technical University. Is from Simon from Bubuyashi.
This segment is innovative, eh? This particular segment is innovative. I like this. Hey, Enoch that.
Back to the studio. And
so I've enjoyed my time with Sadiq and Uncle Fred Kyei Mensah. Definitely, they have plans for the industry.
And I need to be very grateful to Uncle Fredimah. He's always, from the beginning of some of the initiatives that I've pursued, he's always been there. He's always provided the mentorship and the tutorship and the advice.
Hey,
so.
Thank you, Uncle Kyei.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, Sadiq, what a politician you've become. Thank you guys for watching. It's been an amazing week. My name, Bliss King. She is Jackie. Thanks to Mr. Kyei and Simon.
So because of time, we couldn't read your messages, but trust me, on Monday, we'll do that for you. Make sure you enjoy your weekend. My name is Jackie. He's